No, sir, the shepherd who counted stars, not sheep. Long before anyone thought to write things down, when stories still travelled mouth to mouth like water finding its way downhill, there lived a shepherd in the high hills who did something nobody else did. He never counted sheep. Tonight, you are that shepherd. Let the valley below fall away, and climb with me into the old, gentle world. You have spent your whole life on these slopes, where the grass grows thin and silver, and the wind never quite stops moving through it. Your family has kept sheep here for longer than anyone can remember. Your grandmother kept them, and her mother before that, each one walking these same paths, worn smooth by hooves and boots over centuries. The hills roll upward in soft shoulders, one after another, grey-green and quiet. At the very top, past the last twisted pine, past where the path stops pretending to be a path, there's a flat stretch of meadow your grandmother called the resting field. That is where you take the flock each summer. The light stretches long and gold across the grass tonight, catching in the sheep's wool until each one glows faintly amber, like something lit from within. You walk among them slowly, not because they need guiding, but because you like the sound your boots make against the earth, a soft and steady rhythm that matches your own breathing. The dog trots ahead of you, an old grey dog with one ear that never quite stood upright, and he doesn't need to herd any more either. The flock knows the way. They have walked it so many times that the hillside itself seems to remember for them. You reach the resting field just as the sun tips behind the western ridge. There is a stone hut here, built by hands long gone, its walls thick and cool, and its roof low enough that you have to duck beneath the doorway. Inside, someone, you don't remember who, maybe no one ever really told you, left a hearth of flat stones, blackened soft at the center from centuries of small fires. You gather kindling the way you always do without hurry, just bending to pick up what the hillside offers. A twist of dry heather, a curl of birch bark, the good sticks the wind has left tucked beneath the gorse. The fire catches easily tonight. You sit at the mouth of the hut and let its small warmth reach your hands, while the sheep settle in loose clusters across the meadow, folding their legs beneath them one by one, lowering into the grass with the particular contentment of animals who know where they are and what's expected of them, which is nothing at all. The dog lies against your leg, a warm and solid weight. This is the hour your grandmother always loved best, when the sky stops being blue and starts becoming something else, a color that lives only in these few minutes between day and night. She used to sit with you here, when you were small enough to still fit inside the crook of her arm. She'd look up as the first stars arrived and say, quietly, as though sharing something private, "Other shepherds count sheep to help themselves sleep. But we come from a family that counts stars." You asked her why once. She told you this story, the one her own grandmother had told her, high on this hillside, beneath this same slowly darkening sky. Long ago, she said, there was a shepherd who tended a much larger flock than ours, a flock so vast it could not be counted by daylight, because daylight only shows you what is close and what is small. This shepherd's flock lived in the sky itself. Each star, she told you, was a single sheep from that great flock, grazing quietly on the dark blue pasture of night, and the shepherd who watched over them walked slowly along some far horizon. None of us can see, making sure that each one was accounted for, safe, unhurried, exactly where it belonged. Our own flocks down here, she said, are only small reflections of that greater flock above us. So when we count our sheep, we're counting the wrong ones. We should be counting theirs instead, because their shepherd never sleeps. And if we join him in his counting, some of that watchfulness settles into us too. Some of that certainty that everything is exactly where it should be. So you learned to do what she did. You do it now, this very evening, leaning back against the sun-warmed stone of the hut, with the fire murmuring beside you, and the dogs breathing slow and even against your leg. The first star to arrive is always the same one, low in the east, brave enough to show itself while the sky still holds a little color. You find it, and you say, in your mind, 1. Not allowed. Never allowed. The counting of star sheep, your grandmother told you, must happen in the quiet part of yourself, the part that doesn't need words to understand things. A second star opens above the ridge to the north. 2. You feel your shoulders loosen a little, the ache that gathers there after a day of walking starting to soften and drain away. More stars arrive now, not one at a time, but in small clusters, as though they've been waiting just out of sight for enough darkness to gather. You count them without hurry. There's no number to reach, no finish line to move toward. Just one small point of light noticed after another. Somewhere below you a stream moves through the lower meadow, and you can hear it if you listen. A thin, constant thread of sound, water finding the path it has always found. The sheep shift occasionally in their sleep, a soft rustle of wool against grass, a low huff of breath. Your grandmother used to say that the sky shepherd's flock never runs out, because new stars are always being born somewhere at the far edges of the pasture, tiny and faint at first, and old ones sometimes wander so far along the horizon that they slip from view entirely, resting somewhere unseen before returning another season. Nothing is ever truly lost up there, she said, only resting for a while, somewhere you can't see. You think of that now, as you find a star you don't remember seeing before, small and steady near the crown of the sky. You count it gently. You don't need to know its number, only that it's there, doing what a star is meant to do, which is simply to shine. The fire has settled into embers now, a low orange breathing in the dark, needing nothing from you, content to burn slowly down to nothing and back to the earth it came from. You pull your coat a little closer. Not the cold, just the simple comfort of being held by something, even something as plain as wool against your shoulders. The dog sighs and stretches, resettles, sighs again. Somewhere out past the resting field, an owl calls once and is met with silence. The kind that says everything here is as it should be, and nothing more needs watching tonight. You keep counting. The stars are dense now, scattered the whole width of the sky. The pale river of light your grandmother called the Milk Road running directly overhead, a long soft smudge of 1,000 stars too close together to count individually, so you simply let your eyes rest there instead, taking in the whole pale sweep of it the way you'd take in a field of wildflowers, not bothering to name every bloom. Your breathing has slowed to match the fire's slow breathing. Your eyes have grown heavy in that particular way that means sleep is already arriving, quietly, the way it always does up here. A gradual softening of the edges of the world, the stars beginning to blur at their points. The meadow grass beneath you feeling less like ground and more like something holding you. This is why the shepherds of these hills counted stars instead of sheep. Your grandmother told you that very first night and every night after, until it became something you carried inside yourself long after she was gone. Sheep, when you count them, are always jumping the same fence over and over, small and tiring in their sameness. But stars only ask you to notice them, one at a time, unhurried, until noticing becomes its own kind of rest, and rest becomes sleep, and you drift off here in the high resting field, the way generations of your family have drifted off before you, beneath a sky tended by a shepherd who never stops watching, so that you, for tonight, finally can. If you're still here with me, you're probably somewhere between that hillside and sleep already, and that's exactly where I hoped this story would leave you. There's no need to count anything else tonight. The stars will keep doing that work long after we've both gone quiet. I'll leave the fire low and the door of this story open, in case you'd like to come back and sit by it again another night. Sleep well, out there, under all that watching light.